Electric vehicle stocks have absolutely exploded over the past year. We have seen companies like Tesla and NIO double, triple, or 5x in only a matter of months. And in this video, we're going to discuss Xpeng Motors and the potential for this company to be a major player in the fast-growing Chinese EV market. And Xpeng continues to innovate, and we have a lot of major news announcements relating to this company that have the potential to make them one of the leaders in this fast-growing industry, such as the company's new autonomous driving features that will help them compete with the main players like NIO and Tesla. They have also announced a new fully electric sedan to add to their product line, and they are one of the first Chinese EV brands to start expansion outside of their home country and have begun delivering their vehicles into Europe. So as a whole today, we're going to discuss Xpeng Motors and the potential for this stock to see long-term exponential growth like we have witnessed from companies like Tesla and NIO. But before we do that, if you're new to the channel, I am the Gen Z investor, and every single day we talk about the stock market, going over different stocks you can buy and sell, and any major stock market news or headlines. So please hit that like button, subscribe for the daily videos, and today we're going to discuss Xpeng Motors and if this company can really be a long-term player in the EV space. Right now, they have two different vehicles on the market. They have their P7 fully electric sedan, and they also have an SUV vehicle called the G3. And we just got news that Xpeng plans to release their third vehicle for their product line, and it will be another fully electric sedan. We don't have a name, we don't have any specs, we don't have a price, but all we know is to expect a third vehicle coming from Xpeng later on this year. And the company released a nice little tease of what the vehicle will look like. So we don't know much about this third vehicle, but at least we know that Xpeng continues to grow, innovate, and expand their product line with a third model coming soon. And if we take a look at Xpeng stock, they have not seen the exponential growth like we have seen from companies like Tesla and NIO. Both Tesla and NIO have very similar price charts, long-term exponential growth that really has happened over the past 12 months. But if we take a look at Xpeng more closely, from their initial point of around $20 per share, the company did climb up more than 240% and sat around $70 per share. But from that high point, we have seen a major pullback of more than 33%, and they now trade around $47 to $48. So if you want to get into a young EV company, but don't want to pay the high prices of a company like a NIO, this is definitely a brand to take a look at. And like we've already seen, the EV sector has history of posting rapid gains in a very short period of time. And Xpeng continues to expand at a fast rate. If we take a quick look at their most recent delivery report, you can see the month of December 2020, they delivered 5,700 vehicles, which was a 326% increase year over year, and that was a record high for a single month. They grew their deliveries 35% month over month, and for the quarterly basis, they delivered just under 13,000 vehicles in the fourth quarter of 2020. And that represents over 300% increase year over year. So the company continues to grow, and their delivery numbers are coming in at a very fast rate, which is a great sign for this business. Like we've seen from companies like Tesla and NIO, posting great delivery numbers has really helped investor confidence, sending share prices even higher. So if Xpeng can continue this momentum throughout 2021, I think the share price alone may see some positive benefit from the increase in deliveries over the next few months. And as well, the company's new autonomous driving feature will help them compete with companies like NIO and Tesla who are already working in that space. And these new features will assist the driver while on the highway. The vehicle itself will be able to speed up, slow down, automatically change lanes, and overtake other vehicles as well as enter and exit the highway. Their autonomous driving system is going to work very similar to the other major EV brands, nothing too crazy out just yet, and my personal prediction for Xpeng, NIO, Tesla, and all the main EV players is that over the next 5 to 8 years, we will see fully autonomous vehicles on the road. I think as time goes on, those platforms are only going to get smarter, and these main players are going to have fully autonomous driving sooner than we expect. And one point of difference between Xpeng and many other EV brands, especially in the Chinese market, is that they have begun deliveries outside of their home country. And that's huge. There are a bunch of smaller Chinese EV companies who are only operating within their native country and haven't really expanded out just yet. And of course, this is very still early on for Xpeng, but they've already begun delivering into Norway. And at the end of 2020, Xpeng delivered their first batch of 100 G3 electric SUVs in Norway, which are expected to be delivered to customers very soon. And I love this. Of course, you're going to start small, but as time goes on, it's impressive to see these companies expand outside of their home country, and that really is a strong point of difference that compares Xpeng to some smaller EV brands that are still only sold locally. I think as a whole, this is a huge milestone for the business, and that is exactly what their CEO and chairman of Xpeng has said. They are trying to become a truly international smart EV brand, and their launch in Europe, which is expected to be one of the fastest growing EV markets in the world, is really a strong boost for investor confidence, and I really do believe Xpeng has the potential to see long-term exponential growth in share price like we have witnessed from a NIO and a Tesla. So right now, we have seen a ton of good things coming from Xpeng. Deliveries are at record highs and climbing each and every month. They have a new vehicle coming out later on this year. They're expanding into Europe, and they have just unveiled their first ever autonomous driving features. So as a whole, we're seeing a ton of positivity coming from this business, but the share price is still down 33% from their most recent high. So of course, there is some risk investing into a Chinese company, but if you believe China is going to be a main EV player and the largest EV market over the next decade, this is definitely a company to keep on your radar. And there's more we have to talk about regarding Xpeng. So with a lot of younger EV plays, one big issue is liquidity and the risk of bankruptcy. Like we saw with NIO about 2 years ago, there was a very high risk of that company going under. But with Xpeng, they have just secured a $2 billion line of credit with Chinese state-owned banks. And that's enough money to allow the business to continue to run and grow for a very long period of time. And one other strong sign about this business is the company who actually is one of the backers of this brand and is a key investor. And that is Alibaba, one of the largest companies in the world. They have huge net income and revenue growth year over year, and are a main player in the e-commerce giant, owns a significant stake of Xpeng Motors. And that's huge. They actually quintupled their stake in this Chinese EV brand as the company was going public. And right now, Alibaba, the online e-commerce giant, and its subsidiaries in total own around 19% of this company, which was up from their original position of only 3.2%. And that's absolutely huge. And Xpeng itself is actually being run by a former Alibaba executive. So I love that. Alibaba is one of the biggest, baddest companies in the world. They dominate the Chinese market, and they are actually so strong in that market that the Chinese government is investigating them for being a monopoly. So when a company like that, who has so much cash available to them, has such a large market and large influence, is a key investor, and has one of their former executives running a company like Xpeng, only gives investors confidence that the leadership is strong, they have strong financial backing, especially with this new $2 billion credit line, that as a whole, Xpeng will be able to continue their operations not only in the short term, but over the long term as well. And one other aspect of Xpeng's business that I want to talk about that is not related to their financials or the new vehicles, but as a whole, something that I believe is very important for EV brands is the charging network. So of course, right now, you see companies like Tesla creating their own superchargers, NIO has the battery swap stations, but what Xpeng does is right now in their home country, you have access to more than 200,000 third-party charging places all across the country in every major city. So just taking a look at the map, you can see right now there are over 200,000 charging availabilities all across the country in all the different states and cities. So right now, if you own an Xpeng vehicle, although you may not be going to an actual Xpeng charger, you are able to charge your vehicle anywhere you go, which is a very strong sign. And I do believe this vast network of over 200,000 charging stations for Xpeng vehicles will really help and give more confidence to consumers to make that switch away from their traditional vehicle and into a fully electric model. Right now, the fear of running out of battery as an electric vehicle owner does prevent a ton of consumers from making over that switch. And these huge networks of expanding charging stations only helps reduce that fear, and it makes the transition a lot easier for the consumer. So I think Xpeng is doing a ton of great things. I don't think they're at the level of a NIO or a Tesla just yet. And of course, you can just take a look at the deliveries. NIO has about doubled their delivery numbers than Xpeng. Tesla's on a whole nother level and nowhere near where Xpeng is. They're much farther ahead. But as a whole, there's going to be more than one EV player that's going to be a large name brand within China and within Europe. So if you want to take a look at a smaller company that hasn't seen the run up like we've already witnessed from a NIO and a Tesla that trades around a $37 billion valuation compared to a NIO who currently sits around $88 billion, this may be a brand you want to take a look at. And what I want to talk about is there is a ton of potential for Xpeng to trade at a much higher market cap. So if you think right now, sitting in that $48 range, the company's market cap is around $37 billion. So I actually don't think it's unrealistic to see Xpeng triple or 5x over the next few years in trade between $150 to $200 billion market cap as their deliveries and their expansion continues to roll out. Once they get a third vehicle in their product line, I think they're going to add one more in 2022. I think having a 4-product line like what Tesla has right now is kind of the ideal number and gives enough variety to keep consumers interested. And as a whole, I think this company can compete. And I'm planning to start a small position into Xpeng in my high-risk, high-growth portfolio. So if you're newer to the channel and you haven't seen this before, I created a smaller portfolio of assets to invest directly into SPACs and high-growth companies with a lot more risk associated with them. So I keep this separate from my dividend growth portfolio, which currently sits at a value at over $80,000, where I hold my blue chip dividend paying companies that I plan to hold for decades that will help fund my retirement and my financial freedom over the long term. But to make investing more fun, to have more stuff to talk about on the channel, I started a smaller portfolio that invests directly into riskier companies with the potential to see some massive gains. I own 8 different stocks in this portfolio right now, and I do plan to add Xpeng very soon. Right now I'm up around 16%, and I've had this portfolio for less than 2 months, so far it is performing very well. I think Xpeng might be the newest addition to this portfolio, and if I do buy into this company, I will update you in a future video. So that was a little bit of update on Xpeng. We kind of went over the company's growth potential. We discussed the future of the business, where they're heading, the new product announcements that we're hearing about, the new autonomous driving features, record high deliveries, and a ton of positivity coming from this business. They are on a major pullback right now, and if you want to get into an EV company, definitely do some research, take a look at Xpeng, speak with a qualified professional, and then make your investing decision. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to ask you to once again, please hit that like button and subscribe. I'm the Gen Z Investor. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.